Thank you so much for joining me as I talk about 12 hidden gems that are playable for the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. And the first one that I have to talk about is one that I recently beat, and that game is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ritas Rewind. This is a really good beat 'em up. The beat 'em up mechanics in this game, like the fighting moves that you do, definitely reminded me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. It plays similar to that, but a bit more slow and methodical, which is definitely not a bad thing. The art style, the music is good, and the gameplay in this game consists of your standard beat 'em up stages, but you do have some on-rail shooter stages as well, which can be pretty challenging. They weren't bad though. And then you do have your Megazord battles where you get in your giant mech and you battle against other giant mechs. Now that game mode I didn't like the most in here because it was just pretty kind of basic. You could just kind of mash the punch button and get your way through those fights, but it's cool fan service for fans of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is, however, a really good beat 'em up. It's perfect for a couch co-op session, or even if you want to play by yourself, because you can beat this game pretty quickly in about 2 or 3 hours, but I 100% believe that it's worth buying the physical copy, which I did get for 35 bucks. Maybe it'll go on sale at some point and get even cheaper, but it is a really solid beat 'em up to add to your collection if you're a fan of that genre. And the next game is Kaze and the Wild Mask, and I do have to once again shout out FemTrooper and Inferno Fox Gaming, phenomenal fellow YouTubers of mine who really sold me on this game. I heard both of them talk about it on their channels, talking about how it was very similar to Donkey Kong Country, and I do agree. It is a really challenging platformer that also shares the collectathon aspect that's really similar to Donkey Kong Country. You get the 4 letters, you get your other collectibles in here, you got your hidden challenges, and if you're going for all the collectibles, the game is even harder than just trying to get through the levels. I'm just trying to get through the levels myself. I haven't beat this one yet. I'm on the second world right now, but I am really enjoying it. I also do like the mask mechanic. It's called Kaze and the Wild Mask for a reason, because he gets to put on these different masks, which will then transform him into different animals. For example, on one level, you transform into a shark underwater. You swim really smooth. You get to tackle enemies with that. Really good game, and it also does have a casual mode that lets you take a few more hits, because I know I needed it for that first boss battle. That was definitely a bit challenging, but I'm enjoying that game. Another game that I enjoyed checking out recently was the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I've heard so much hype about the Power Stone games that are on this collection. I checked them out, and I gotta say I did like them. They are a lot of fun. Some cool kind of like 3D arena style fighting games, arcade fighting games where you get power-ups, all kind of stuff. In a way, kind of reminded me of Smash Brothers. You definitely want to beat your opponent to collecting those power-ups so you can get OP and have the advantage on them. But owning the physical copy of this is also really cool because it does come with the comic. As you can see, my girl Morrigan here from the Darkstalkers games, one of my favorite fighting game characters ever. But this one is pretty fun. I definitely think it's worth buying. You get 8 classic arcade games on here. Definitely gives you a bang for your buck, and I really do think it's worth the value. But to talk about a true hidden gem JRPG on this list, I do have to once again mention a game that I've talked about on the channel before, because this game definitely deserves more spotlight, and that game is Blue Reflection Second Light. This game is kind of cozy, but also kind of dark and eerie at the same time. It has a good turn-based battle system that is fun too. It's turn-based, but at the same time, it kind of plays out like in real time. You can't just sit there and take all day to make your moves. You kind of want to do it in a quick succession. The art style is really nice, really bright. The music is really good. It's definitely on the dialogue heavy side though, so you'll have to be in the mood for that if you want to play it. But it does have a really solid story as well. It is a really charming game, and this is a true hidden gem on the Nintendo Switch. Speaking of true hidden gems on the Nintendo Switch, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R is truly one of the best arcade-style fighting games that I have ever played on the Nintendo Switch. It has a huge roster. It has really good visuals. The performance in it is good from what I've noticed. I didn't really notice anything wrong with it, but I do have to mention that it's 30 FPS, unlike other versions, which I believe are 60. But I played it and honestly really had a great time with it. The fighting gameplay in this game really reminds me of King of Fighters, so much to the point where I would say it's basically kind of like a King of Fighters clone with a JoJo's skin put on it. And I don't know anything about the anime or the manga of this series, but I do know that this is one kick-ass fighting game that I definitely believe is worth buying and playing on your Nintendo Switch right now. And just to keep some variety in this video, I'm gonna mention a game that's completely different than all the other ones that I've mentioned previously, and that game is Emio and the Smiling Man. This is a really good visual novel. The story is really good, the music is really good, the characters, the presentation. Admittedly, I put a few hours into it, but need to get back into it for sure because it is a good game and I do want to see it through till the end. I'm just not really a big visual novel guy. I keep saying I'm gonna get through this one and I think I'm gonna commit to it if I don't go to sleep after recording this video. I think I may put some time into it tonight because I've actually never fully played through a visual novel yet, but this definitely deserves to be the first one that I ever play, just because the music and everything is so chill, but I know this does have the horror theme to it, so I'm pretty confident that things will pick up at the end and get a little more creepy. But in Emio the Smiling Man, you're basically a detective. You're going to crime scenes, you're talking to witnesses and people to gather information about this serial killer who's been doing this weird thing with like putting bags over people's head and stuff. So yeah, it is definitely creepy and it'll definitely keep your interest and you will definitely enjoy the really good music that this game has to offer. It is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch as well. And I did cover this game a while back in my Nintendo Switch games to buy before rare and expensive series, because this is a niche Nintendo exclusive that I definitely do believe could go up in price later on down the line. Neo The World Ends With You is a total hidden gem JRPG for the Nintendo Switch that definitely deserves more attention. This game is just really stylish. The music, the aesthetic, the graphics, everything about it is just oozing with style and drip in this game. The gameplay, even the action RPG combat is really unique. You get these things called, I don't remember if they were called pins, I think, or buttons, but you have to collect them and assign them to your characters. And each pin or button will assign to different buttons that you press on your controller to control different characters and do different moves with the characters in your party. It is a lot of fun. You're gonna wanna try to get these chain combos to just annihilate your opponents. The story's really good. The music is definitely memorable. I like how you can unlock all the different clothing and all that, the gear to put on your team party members as well to power them up. Really good game, definitely worth checking out. Do not sleep on this one. Published by Square Enix. And the next game that I'm gonna mention on this list is one that I've definitely been talking about since the early days of me starting this channel, but I have to mention it again because I truly believe it's one of the best action JRPGs available on the Nintendo Switch. In fact, I liked it so much that first I bought the digital copy for like $8, played it, and I liked it so much I had to order the physical copy for Ys Origin because the action, combat, and gameplay in this one is so good. It has that kind of top-down, isometric, 2D kind of Zelda style, but the combat is just so smooth, so fluid, so crispy in this game. The story is really solid. The music is really solid. The characters are really cool. Now, this game definitely offers some replay value because you have 3 different characters you can play as. You can play the story as Unica, and she's a melee attack character who has an axe, or you can play as Hugo, who uses his long-range magic attacks, and they will actually see the story through their own unique perspectives. And then there is a third unlockable character as well. Hands down, one of the best action JRPGs on the Nintendo Switch. So if you like that genre and you haven't played this game, honestly, I gotta tell you, you're slacking. You need to play Ys Origin. If you're a fan of beat 'em ups, the next game that I'm gonna mention is truly another must-play, must-own game for your Nintendo Switch collection, and that game is Fight and Rage. Now, I will warn you, this definitely does have that old school beat 'em up difficulty, but this game is so good. There's 3 playable characters. They all have their own unique fighting styles. You have Gal, who's the faster one. You have the Chuck Norris look-alike. I can't remember. I haven't played this game too recently. I did play it like a few months back with my kids. We had some fun with it, but I think it was too hard for them because they gave up on it. We beat Streets of Rage 4 together, but this one they didn't want to see through till the end with me. But really fun game, really just great top tier beat 'em up mechanics in this game. There's even multiple endings to see through and everything, lots of unlockables, different game modes, but the real meat and potatoes of this game is just that really good beat 'em up gameplay. And I heard that this game was pretty much worked on by one single guy, so that's really impressive. This game is so good that I do agree with the opinion that I've heard a lot of people say that this is one of the best beat 'em ups of all time. Fight and Rage for the Nintendo Switch is a true hidden gem and truly one of the best beat 'em ups of all time. The next Nintendo Switch hidden gem that I'm going to mention is actually a collection of games that is only digital here in the US, but there is a Japanese physical copy titled the Capcom Belt Action Collection. This is a collection of beat 'em ups. Here in the US, you can get it digitally, and it's called the Capcom Beat 'em Up Bundle. But this collection is definitely worth owning if you're a fan of beat 'em ups and you're a physical collector, because it has a lot of good games on here like Final Fight, The King of Dragons, Captain Commando, Powered Gear, where you get to play as these mechs fighting through the game and everything. This is 100% worth owning, and a lot of people may not know about this physical copy because it didn't release here in the US or anywhere else besides Japan and Asian regions, I believe, but it's 100% worth owning for physical collectors and beat 'em up fans. If you like arcade fighting games whatsoever and you don't own any of them that I've mentioned on this list, I would say this is the one that you have to have in your Nintendo Switch collection, and that is the Capcom Fighting Collection. I did mention the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 earlier, but to me, the first one is just even better because it has the Darkstalkers series, and they go under different titles like Night Warriors, Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior, and Red Earth, but these games are just so phenomenal. You even have some Street Fighter in this collection, some Puzzle Fighter, Gem Fighter. 10 classic games that are 100% worth owning, are a ton of fun. Even if you're just a casual fighting game fan like myself, I would say you have to own this one. It's truly one of the best fighting game compilations out there that you must own. Now, the final game that I'm gonna mention on this list is this game right here, Dear Me, I Was. Now, this one is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2, but it's a digital exclusive game that is only $8, and I 100% do believe it's worth every dollar. This is a story narrative driven game that uses only visuals and music and sound effects to tell the story. There is no actual dialogue or words happening, but it is a really heartfelt story where you follow a lady from the moment of her childhood all the way till she becomes elderly throughout her life, and you get to go through the moments of her life with her. There's gonna be some heartfelt, sad moments. There's some happy moments in there as well. It's definitely just a really wholesome and heartfelt story that I 100% believe is worth playing on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I mean the Nintendo Switch 2, because it is a Switch 2 exclusive, but I definitely believe it's worth the $8. The developers of this game definitely deserve the support. And yeah, this game definitely got me emotional, definitely made me feel things. It has this cool watercolor art style to it. Really good game. I'm really glad I purchased it. Honestly, I feel that was a more better purchase than the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour was at $10. For $8 on that game, it only took me about maybe 45, 50 minutes to beat it, but I really did enjoy every minute spent with it, and it's a game that anyone can get through because there really is no gameplay. You're just clicking different things, getting through the story, enjoying it. But thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed this hidden gem video and you have any that you'd like to recommend to me, definitely let me know down in the comments. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next one.